The mic is. Hello, you are welcome to another segment. Uh, my name will remain the same, Abimbope. And in today's lesson, I'll be teaching you under a topic we call sword, on a topic called sword. And it's one of the vital topics in mathematics, one of the vital and one of the very interesting topic in mathematics, because we'll be talking about irrational numbers. And what is the meaning of sword? That is the first thing. Let's divide sword. Sword are the values in square root. The values in square root that cannot be further simplified into whole numbers or integers. And if we try to simplify them, we are going to get decimal values. So sword are values in square root that cannot be further simplified into whole number or integers. So examples of sword are square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5. These are examples of sword. If you look at this particular number now, if we try to simplify this number further, you are going to see that we are going to get decimal numbers. You will get decimal numbers. All right. Before we continue, we work on what we call, let me quickly brief you on what we call the rules of sword. You know, mathematics is all about principles. You have to know the principles that govern each topic. Now, the rules of sword, number one, we have the root of A times B is the same thing as root A times root B. Root of A times B is the same thing as root A times root B. That is rule number one. Rule number two, the root A all over B is the same thing as root A all over root B. Number three, we have A root B plus C root B is the same thing as bracket open A plus B, then all bracket close, then root B. Then number four, we have bracket open A root B, bracket close, bracket open C root D, bracket close, is the same thing as AC root BD. Now, and the last one is root A or index root A, bracket close, index N is the same thing as root A index N, just like what you're seeing on the board. Now, I'm going to give you some instances. But before that, I believe I've defined sword and I've given you examples of sword. Sword are irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. And you know, when we talk about irrational numbers can not be further simplified. And if we try to simplify them, we are going to get decimal values. If you try to simplify this one, you are going to get 1 point something. All right. Now, let's look at what we call a sword in general. Now, looking at this, if I give you something like this, if I say root 2 plus root 3, root 2 plus root 3, root 2 plus root 3 is not equal. Root 2 plus root 3 is not equal to root 2 plus 3. Is not the same thing. I believe you understand me. Because both of them are covered with what? With root. Root 2 plus root 3 is not equal to root 2 plus 3. So, another one, if you have root 3 plus root 3 minus root 2 is not equal to root 3 minus root 2. Now, that means that when we talk about the operations of plus, and minus. Plus and minus, and we have different what? Different roots. The what? The operation under surd is not going to work. Now, but what about multiplication forms? If you have root 2 times root 3, this one is equal to 2 root 2 times 3, which is going to eventually give us what? Root 6. Now, let me analyze this. You know, if you say A plus B is the same thing, the result is still going to give you what? A plus B. If I say A minus B, the result is still going to be what? A minus B. Because we are talking about what? The inversion of the operation of this plus and what? Minus. But if I say A times B is equal to A, B. You understand what I'm saying? A plus B is the same thing as A plus B. A minus B is the same thing as A minus B. A times B is the same thing as A, B. For instance, if I say root 2 plus root 3, root 2 plus root 3 is equal to root 2 plus root 3. And if I say root 3 minus root 2 is the same thing as what? As root 3 minus root 2. But once I say root 3 times root 2 is going to give me what? Root 3 times 2, which is equal to what? Root 6. Are you following? Now, because do you know the reason why these two roots cannot work? It's because they are different entirely. 2 is different from 3. Now, but if I do like this, if I say root 2 plus root 2, you can see they are the same thing. Root 2 plus root 2. Looking at this now, how many root 2 do we have here? 1. Okay. How many root 2 do we have here? 1. That means that we have 1 root 2 here, we have 1 root 2 here. Making how many root 2? 2 root 2. So 2 root 2. So if I have 3 root 2 plus root 2, how many root 2? Looking at this now, we can add it together because they are the same thing. They are tantamount to each other. Now, we have 3 root 2 plus root 2. How many root 2 do we have here? 3. How many root 2 do we have here? 1. 3 plus 1 is what? That is 4. 4 root 2. And the same thing is applicable to subtraction. If I say 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2 is equal to what? Looking at it, we have the same number in the what? In the root form. Now, how many root 2 do we have here? 3. How many root 2 do we have here? 2. 3 minus 2 is what? 1. That is 1 root 2. And giving us what? Root 2. And that is what we are going to do now. Okay, let's work on some examples. Let's work on examples. Okay, looking at this, if I say we have root 45, the question says simplify root 45. Let's simplify root 45. Now, some people find it difficult to simplify this particular number, but let me break it down to your level. Now, looking at this 45, if it is too big for you to simplify, you can rather use what? The multiples of 45, or you find the LCM of what? Of 45. Now, let's find the LCM of 45. The LCM of 45, what can go is 3. 3 in 45 is what? How many 3 can we see in 45? That is 15. Again, 3 can still go. 3 in 15, 5. Again, what can go now? 5 can go. 5 here is 1. Looking at these two numbers if you multiply it, it's not going to give us a result irrational, but it's going to give us a number, what? Rational number. I mean, I'm talking about perfect square. Oh yeah, what is this? 3 times 3 is what? 9. That is 9 times what? Times 5. You are going to see that we have a rational number that cannot be broken again. And what is that irrational number? 5. Can we break 5? No. That means that breaking this 45 down is going to give us what? Is going to give us root of 45 is equal to root what? Root 9 times what? Times 5. And what is root 9 times 5? Root 9 times 5, according to the first rule, is the same thing as what? As root 9 times what? Times root 5. And looking at this now, what is our root 9? Root 9 is what? Root 9 is 3. That is 3 times root 5. And what is 3 times root 5? It's going to give us 3 root 5. Take note, this number is an external number. You can see that we don't have root for this number, but we have root for this. So this number cannot enter into this root and multiply the what? The integer we have in this place. So it's going to stay outside, just like that, because they are not the same thing. But assuming we have root 3 times root 5, what are we going to have? We are going to have what? 3 times 5, we are going to have what? Root 15. But looking at this number does not carry any what? Any root. So it's going to be like this. That is 3 times root 5 will give us 3 root 5. Let's do another example. Let's work on more example. For example, you have root 27. The question says simplify root what? Root 27. Simplifying root 27 will give us what? That is, root 27 is equal to what? If you break it down, you are going to see that we will get what? The what? The minimum irrational number. Number that cannot be broken down again. Now 27, what can go? 3 can go. 3 in 27 is what? We have 9. 3 can go. 3 here is what? We have 3. 3 can go. 3 here is what? 1. You are going to see that this is the simplest what? Irrational number we can get. And if we times this one, 3 times 3 is what? 9. So we have 9 times, what is this irrational number? 3. And you can see we cannot break this one down again. So my result here will give me 9 times what? Times 3. And 9 times 3, according to the rule, is what? Root 9 times what? Root 3. Then looking at this now, what is root 9? Root 9 is what? Is 3. Times what? Times root 3. Now, what do we have here now? Let's multiply this. 3 times root 3 is what? It's going to give me 3 root what? Root 3. That is that one. Now, more examples on this. More examples. What about if we have root 98? What is root 98? 49 times 2. 49 times 2. Thank you. So 49 times 2, if we break this down, we are going to say we are going to have what we call 49 times what? Times 2. 49 times 2 will give me what? Will give me 98. Now let's break this thing down. Let's break it down. 49 times 2 is the same thing as what? As root 49 times what? Root 2. And this one will give me what? Will give me 7. 7 what? 7 times root 2, which is the same thing as 7 root what? Root 2. If you look at the irrational number we have here, we cannot break it again. Okay? I believe we are good to go. All right. Let's quickly move to what we call addition and then subtraction of sum. Addition and subtraction of what? Of sum. Addition and subtraction of sum. Now, sorry, let me clean this through so that we have more space. Okay. Now, example, addition and subtraction of sum. Addition and subtraction of sum. The question says simplify root 49 plus root 27. Root 48 plus root 27. Now let's break this down. Let's break it down. Root 48. Find the square root of root 48. Let's find it. Root 48 will give me what? 24, 2, 12, 2, 6, 2, 3, 3, 1. So what do we have? You are going to see that we have what? Irrational number here. But let's first times this one to get a perfect square first. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. If you look at it, 16 is a perfect what? Perfect number. And we have what? Irrational number here. Now, so that means that our root 48 will give me what? Root 16 times what? Times 3. 16 times 3 is what? 48. Plus, let's find 27. If you break down 27 to the simplest irrational number, what are you going to get? 27. 3 can go. 3 here is 9. 3 can go again. 3 here is 3. 3 can go again. 1. That means we have what? 3 times 3 is what? 9. And we have this number which cannot be broken again. So we have 9 times what? Times 3. 9 times 3. This one is the same thing as root 16 times root 3 plus root 9 times root 3. So what do we have here? What is square root of 16? 4. Thank you. That is 4 times root 3. Then plus, what is square root of 9? 3. That is 3 times what? Root 3. Now let's multiply this. 4 times root 3 is what? Remember, this 4 will not enter this what? This particular, this root will not enter into this root. So it's going to be outside. Once you multiply it, it's just like A times root B will give us what? A root what? Root B. So the same thing is applicable to this one. 4 times root 3 is what? That is 4 root 3 plus 3 times root 3 is what? That is 3 root 3. So what is my final answer now? 4 root 3 plus 3 root 3. You can see that we have the same root there. And having the same root, that means that the operation can work together. So what do we have? How many root 3 do we have here? 4. How many root 3 do we have here? 3. 4 root 3 plus 3 root 3 is what? 7 root 3. And that is my answer. Let's work on more examples. Let's work more. Now, another example. Let's assume we have simplify root 8 plus root 18 minus root 2. Simplify root 8 plus root 18 minus root 2. Now let's break this one down. Okay. Now we have 8. If you break 8 down, it's going to give you 4 times what? 4 times 2. You're going to see that that last number cannot be broken again. 4 times 2. So root 8 is going to give me what? Root 4 times 2. Then plus, if you break 18 down, you will get what? That is the multiple of 9 times what? Times 2. Then minus what? Minus root 2. Okay. Now this is the same thing as what? Root 4 times root 2 plus root 9 times root 2 minus root 2. Minus root 2. Now what do we have here now? What is the square root of 4? That is 2. So we have 2 times root 2 plus, what is here? That is 3 times root 2 minus root what? Root 2. Now 2 times root 2 is what? That is 2 root 2 2 root 2 plus 3 times root 2 is what? That is 3 root 2 minus what? Root 2. Now, what do we do now? Let's express this operation. Let's express this. So what do we have? We have root 2, and root 2. First and foremost, let's first deal with the what? The addition first. Now, 2 root 2 plus 3 root 2 is what? 5. That is 5 root 2 minus what? What is this one? Root 2. Remember, this root 2 that is independent, there is 1 here. You remember? Okay. Now, 5 root 2 minus 1 root 2 is what? My final answer is 4 root 2. My final answer is 4 root what? Root 2. Okay? Believe I'm communicating. Example number 3. The question says, solve. We have 2 root 3 plus root 27. 2 root 3 plus root 27. Let's break this. So what do we have here? We have 2 root 3, isn't it? Then what else? We have plus, if you break this 27 down, it's going to give me what? That is 9 times 3. Just make sure that this your second number cannot be broken again. You get the multiples of 27. 9 times 3 is 27. Just make sure that this last number cannot be what? Broken again. Now, what do we have here? We have 2 root 3. Then plus, this one is root 9 times root 3, which will give me what? 2 root 3. Then plus, what is the root of 9? That is what? That is 3 times root 3, giving me 2 root 3 plus 3 times root 3 is what? That is 3 root what? Root 3. And my final answer now is 2 root 3 plus 3 root 3 is what? That is 5 root what? Root 3. 5 root what? Root 3. Okay. I'm going to solve one more questions. Then I'm going to give you 2 to work on, and you drop your what? Your answers at the comment section. Okay? Now, let's solve one more question. Let's solve one more question. The question says simplify. Simplify. We have 3 root 75 minus root 12 plus root 108. That is a question. You can see we have 2 operations here. Minus and what? Plus. Now let's solve this. Looking at root 75, we have to break this thing down. We say 3, then root what? Let's break 75 down. 75, 3 can go. We have what? 2, we have 25. 5 can go. So we have 5, 5, 1. And looking at this, we have 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is what? 25. So what we have here is 25 times what? Times 3. So 25 times 3. 25 times 3 minus, what about 12? 12 is 4 times 3. Thank you. 4 times 3. Mind you, you cannot use 6 times 2. Why? Because 2 of them will form what? Irrational number. Can we find the perfect root of 6? No. Can we find the perfect square root of 2? No. So you have to what? Find one which you can what? You can find the perfect square, and the last one which you cannot find, which form the irrational what? Numbers. Then plus, let's find 108. 108 will give us, how many 2 can we see here? 54. 2 here, we have 27. Then what case can go? 3 here is 9. 3 here is 3. 3 here is 1. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 3, 12. 12 times 3, that is what? That is 36. So we have 36 times what? Times 3. So 36 times 3. So what do we have left now? So this one is 3 times, remember, what do we have? Root what? Root 25 times root 3 minus root 4 times root 3 plus, what do we have here? We have root 36, then plus what? Plus root 3. Now, finally, what do we have here? We have 3. Then what is the square root of 25? That is 5. That is times 5 times what? Times root 3 minus, what is the square root of 4? That is 2 times root what? Root 3 plus, what is the square root of 36? That is 6 times, sorry, this is times what? Times root 3. So what is my final answer here? 3 times 5 is what? 15. 15 times root 3 minus 2 times root 3 plus 6 times root 3. Now multiply all this. Let's multiply this. Let's multiply this. 15 times root 3 is what? 15 root 3 minus 2 times root 3 is what? 2 root 3. Then plus 6 times root 3 is what? That is what? 6 root 3. Now looking at this, don't be confused. If you're working on theory, please arrange this thing very well so that you will not make mistakes. So how do you arrange this? You can just put the what? The addition come before what? Subtraction. Put this one here and put this one here. So this one will give us 15 root 3. Where's the addition? Plus 6 root 3. And this is minus 2 root 3. Then we have what? 15 root 3 plus 6 root 3 is what? That is 21 root what? Root 3. Minus what? 2 root 3. My final answer now is 21 root 3 minus 2 root 3 is what? That is 19 root 3. And that is my final answer. Now, let me give you 2 questions. Solve it and drop your answers at the comment section. Now, number 1, simplify the following. Simplify the following. We have root 24 plus root 96 minus root 600. Number 2, we have root 50 plus root 63 minus root 32. Okay. Please, I want you to work on this. And then after you've solved this, drop your answers at the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this. So I remain the same person, Abimbola Temitope. Bye bye for now.